Guys, I need every single one of you to stop chasing and start attracting right now. Welcome everybody to a new episode of PhilosophyBoss. I hope all of you guys are having a great day, and today we talk about the law of attraction and apply it to a topic that has been requested many times and that many guys are struggling with. As I talked about in a video about the law of attraction, this law can be applied to many things, including relationships, which is what we focus on today. And guys, there's no such thing as a definitive guide. I only talk about the things that have worked for me. And I am an introvert. So chances are, if you're an introvert too, this may work for you as well. First of all, respect women. I know this may sound obvious, but I still want to address it, because I see many young men regarding women as objects. And this is just wrong. And if you do it, stop it. And not only is it a big turn-off for women, but it's also a sign of weakness and immaturity. And if you want to attract a queen, you should treat her accordingly. Secondly, respect yourself. If you want to attract a queen, shouldn't you be a king? And being a king starts with respecting yourself. And that equates to carrying yourself with respect, talking with respect, and regarding yourself with respect. And the moment you respect yourself, mediocre is not enough. Good is not enough. You need to realize your full potential and become the best version that you can be, mentally and physically. And I see so many people online saying you have to focus on being physically strong. And the other extreme side says you have to focus on training your mind. And guys, you have to be both physically and mentally strong. And neglecting one of the both parts equates to disrespecting yourself. And guys, if you say that you're weak, or if you perceive yourself as weak, that's not a problem. The only problem is staying weak. Because staying weak is a choice, but becoming strong is a choice too. So you might as well go for the latter. And once you master self-respect, you become strong physically and mentally. And this, first of all, makes you powerful, and secondly, makes you being perceived as powerful by whomever you want to attract. And this is the foundation for the next step. Stop chasing. You know, I know so many guys who told me that once they get into a relationship, all the girls seem to notice them without them having to try. And that's exactly the point. They stopped trying because they stopped being needy as soon as they got into a relationship. But guess what? As soon as they broke up, this magic stopped working for some reason. And being needy, guys, is a sign of disrespecting yourself by viewing something external as the prize and not yourself. Because if you mastered self-respect, you will never feel needy, ever. And you won't believe how much you will differentiate yourself from other guys. Especially those simps, which seem to be everywhere at the moment. And there's barely anything more unattractive than neediness. So stop chasing. And this leads us to the next step. Start attracting. So if you say that chasing equals neediness, attracting equals abundance. And even though attracting and chasing are the opposite, they cannot exist without each other. Let's say you're chasing a girl. This happens because you see her as the prize and she attracts you, and not vice versa. And guess what? We can turn this dynamic the other way around. As we stated in the last video, attraction happens the moment you become valuable to what it is that you want to attract. And secondly, you're actually being perceived as valuable. So assuming that you already check the boxes like being respectful, being kind and loyal, amongst others. This is what high quality women are looking for. And we remember that before we used the analogy of a king and a queen. And to attract a queen, you must become a king and be perceived as a king. And if you mastered self-respect, you're so far ahead. So let's have a look at some of the characteristics a king embraces and displays. First, power. And not power in the sense of money or being influential in the world. But she needs to perceive you, and you actually have to be someone who is dependable and who can take care of himself and others, especially a family. But how do you display being powerful on a day-to-day basis? Easy, guys. Be confident. And confidence plays such a major role in so many areas of our lives. Just look at your surroundings. I mean, you want your surgeon to be confident. You want your construction workers to be confident. You want your pilot to be confident in his abilities. And confidence comes from competence. And now you may ask, how do you display confidence? when you're in social situations, people form an opinion about you in a fraction of a second, the very first time they see you. And the very first thing they notice is your body language, meaning your posture. And I did a short about the ideal posture according to Musashi and modern science, so I highly recommend you have a look at this. But the most important thing is that you straighten your back and do not slump. And I invite you to make this a daily habit. And not only do you become more confident, but it's also healthy for your back. And this is the first impression. However, there is a saying that you have two first impressions. The first one is the moment they see you, and the second one is the moment you open your mouth. And guys, you notice the difference between a confident and unconfident person speaking. When an unconfident person speaks, he's not confident in what he's saying, meaning that he speaks in a way hoping that he will be heard. And even he himself does not believe that he is worthy of being listened to. And with every sentence he says, he's waiting for the reaction and validation of the other person. But here comes the confident guy. He's having genuine conversations with you, and even though he listens to you and cares about what you say, he doesn't care about what you think about him. And he also doesn't need your validation. And even though he's never verbally told you this, you can just tell. And this is how one should talk to women, and in business settings, while of course always being respectful. And having covered the first attribute, power, we now continue with the second attribute, presence. Because the thing is, if you only display power, chances are you're also being perceived as arrogant. Which is why presence is also very important. And yeah, it is important that you don't seek validation or care about what people think about you. But at the same time, it is important to care about people. I mean, otherwise, what's the point in having conversations? And that means being genuinely interested in the other person, and finding out who they are and what they believe in, what they're interested in, and actually being interested in their character. Because guys, beauty can fade over time. What you want in a high-quality woman is a life partner with whom you can build your family and empire. And this you can find out by actually getting to know her. And as an introvert, I'm a good listener and also ask questions because I'm genuinely interested in her as a person. And even though it's just natural for me, I differentiate myself so much from other guys who only talk about themselves, their achievements, their successes in order to impress the other woman. But guess what, guys? Trying to impress equates to chasing and being needy. And after some time, they're asking me questions and want to get to know me. And usually we end up in deep talk about philosophy, business, and politics, connecting on a deeper level. And this is where most guys fail. They connect on a superficial level, if they connect at all. Let's continue with the next attribute, warmth. Women want to feel comfortable, and if you only display power and presence, you may be perceived as cold. And this is why warmth is so important. And that means actually having fun and being a fun guy to be with. And not only with women, but in general. And that means not taking yourself too seriously. Cracking jokes about yourself, about others, about the world, about whatever. And just have fun and enjoy the conversation. And guys, what has worked for me and what I do naturally is to just focus on entertaining myself. What usually happens when I'm having a good time, everybody else is having a good time. And positive energy is contagious. For example, I recently been to a concert of my favorite rock band of all time. And I've been there with a friend of mine. And when the band started to play, I was vibing, headbanging, dancing and all of the stuff. But everyone else around me was kind of boring and didn't move at all. When I looked around, I saw 3 guys who were vibing just as much as me. And I told my friend, let's go to those guys. I bet we can start a mosh pit over there. And my friend told me, well, you know, I mean it's nice here and why don't we just stay here? And I told him, what do you mean, man? We go over there and start a mosh pit right now. A little bit later, we go to those guys and started the mosh pit. And at the time we were like 6 or 7 people. And we jumped around having a good time. But then came a song that I was waiting for. And there's a breakdown in that song. And I knew we can take this mosh pit to the next level. So when the breakdown built up, I pushed everyone away and we formed a big circle. And the tension was building up. And when the breakdown came, I jumped as hard as I could into the mosh pit. I didn't realize it at first, but when I looked around, we were easily 50 people in the mosh pit. And it built up gradually, each and every song, until we reached easily more than 100 people, having started the biggest mosh pit in the concert. And this is where I learned that positive energy is contagious. And this was hands down the best concert I've ever been to. And the thing is, I made it the best concert. And in the same way, you can make every conversation enjoyable. So be aware that you have the power to set the tone in the room. And guys, once you unlock those 3 attributes, power, presence and warmth, you also unlock charisma. And you need to unlock all 3, because only power means that you're a tyrant, only presence means that you're cold, and only warmth means that you're a nice guy. But the combination of those 3 is so powerful, you cannot even imagine. And guys, here's a bonus. Stop focusing on women and realize a woman is not the center of your life, but rather a very beautiful part. You know, life in the world is so beautiful. And if you only focus on women, you miss out on so many opportunities and so many experiences life and the world has to offer. Do the things you always wanted to do. Experience the world, build your business, learn new hobbies, learn new skills, and become the best version of yourself. And once you become the best version of yourself, the right opportunities and people come to you. Please let me know what you think about this and what your experiences are. Thank you for watching.